want it, you can't hold me back. See, I live
One of them go exclusive.
Absolutely. For me, it's about, I'll tell you this much when it comes to sort of who our publishing partner is. So we went out and we met with, a number of name publishers and money people in the industry that you would know. And I'd never done that before because I'd always been tied to Sony. And it was really cool because, I didn't know what that was like. And it was so great to meet the guys from Ubisoft and Microsoft and really up and down the West Coast and a couple of other places.
Yeah.
And so they all offered a lot. I will tell you that the publisher that we ended up going with, what they offered that was the most attractive was when they basically said, look, you're building a new team, you're building a new company, you're building a brand new game. What we want to offer, or sort of our biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? Incentives to work with us is we'll give you guys the time to find your game. So we're not going to say, here's going to come out in a year and a half. They're like, we understand game development, we understand it's iterative, we understand finding the right team is going to take time. And so it was really about sort of finding the right fit with the publisher that understood the process of building not just a studio, or not just a game, but a studio and a team. And so for us, I think when the game comes out, we've been really enjoying the work so much because the game is already fun, and we've only really been in full-on sort of rough prototype production for about 2 months now. And we're already having a really good time playing the game.
Really? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're using Unity, which is a big part of it. I mean, it's so wonderful to be using an off-the-shelf engine for the first time. I've never done that before, and we're putting in creative content within week 1.
What engine? What engine are you using?
We're using Unity 4.
Wow, for real?
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, I've never been, you know me, I've never been sort of, a graphics guy. I think graphics are great, they're impressive, but the game, other than sort of the graphics sort of selling you on the fantasy at first and getting you in the door, it really is all about sort of how the graphics serve the gameplay. And so, sure, if what I can promise you is we're not doing a game that we think it's going to be visually impressive, absolutely, and really have a super cool, unique art style, but we don't think we're not trying to sort of beat Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica at their own game in terms of photorealism and things like that. And so it's been really wonderful to work on an engine like this because instead of spending, a year and a half before your engine is brand new and stable and ready to actually get creative, you're doing that week 1. And that's the part of the game process that I love and the team loves. So it was really about finding a publisher and a partner that understood that and wanted to allow us to really find the fun. And in doing so, it's been probably the best development experience in my career.
Wow. I'm so happy to hear that you're happy, David. Like, for real, that means a lot to me, man. For real. I'm just so happy to hear you're happy.
I appreciate that, and I hope the same for you, and I certainly hope the same for anybody listening to this, but absolutely for you as well. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is the best experience. And a lot of it's the team, a lot of it's the publisher, a lot of it's the fact that, like I said, we're stepping sort of, the movie analogy is we're stepping on the set and the camera's already there. We don't have to spend a year inventing Panavision every time we make a movie. We just get to go about the creative work, and that's total blast. And obviously, that doesn't mean it's going to translate into a great game for people playing, but we hope it will. But for at least what we can speak to is the process right now, it's been a total joy. And hopefully the game that comes out of it, and I think it will be fantastic.
So let me ask you this. I know you got all the time in the world to make this, great game that you want to do. So whether it's a year or 2 years, that's fine. So you have your own process. But what I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I'm more excited about your own game than you. All right, I'm telling you on record. All right? I'm more excited about your own game. And me personally,
I don't know if that's true, but I
well, I'm waiting for it, man. Now I want to ask you this, right? This past E3, was a huge E3 because, Microsoft and Sony came out swinging, and I think Microsoft had an incredible conference, Sony had a great conference, and the whole DRM thing and how everything blew up and just the energy, everybody's talking. the energy, I feel like it's Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis all over again with great technology. That's the way I really feel. And what I wanted to ask you is, I feel that like E3 would be the perfect stage for you to like, show this game off, man. Because like I said, the last time you did it, when you came out that truck with Sweet Tooth Truck on stage, I was there. I saw you. I was like excited, man. I would love for you to come back in a big way like that to like reveal your game. I know this is something that you guys probably even haven't talked about or whatever, but do you have some sort of time frame you could like give the fans on when you'll be rolling out a little bit of news on it?
Yeah, I would. It's hard to say because we're doing the prototype right now. So depending on how well that goes, a lot comes from that. What I can say is, if all goes well, we're definitely not looking. It's not like a 3-year epic journey kind of game where you don't hear about it for. We're definitely looking. If you haven't heard something in the next 14 to 18 months, I have to assume maybe something's gone terribly wrong. So that's the hope, at least. If not out, you'll be hearing about it. So obviously go to my Twitter, go to the Bartlett Jones website, and follow us there. I mean, as always, even though right now, just like when we did Twisted, we couldn't reveal the details for a long time. There's a lot of shit that we're going to be doing and engaging with people who like what we do, and so we're looking forward to meeting a bunch of old fans and hopefully building lots of new relationships with the website. So hopefully people will go there.
Now, one of your strengths, to me personally, one of your strengths as a game developer that I've always admired about you was your ability to create characters that were meaningful. That I think that's one of your standout greatest crafts of your mind, like that you've ever brought to the game industry, like your ability to create characters. So I'm really excited to see this next character that you're gonna do. But one thing I wanted to ask, if you can possibly,
well, I gotta let me just say real quick to that.
Okay.
Thank you. That's very kind, and B I'm real proud of sort of those successes as well. But they're not just my successes, obviously. I mean, Kratos is, as I've said before, as much a product of Ken Feldman and Cory Barlog and Charlie Wynn and an entire team of talented people, just like Sweet Tooth is.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I am those characters, absolutely, and do I consider my contributions significant and large in the creation of those? Yeah, I'm one of the main parents of those characters, but there's a lot of there's a lot of people who birthed them, not just me.
All right, I respect that, and big shout out to Cory and everybody that you mentioned. Cory Barlog is bad, funny. I love that dude. Remember when we hung out backstage when I'm telling you, that was one of the best days of my life, man. Like, I really thank y'all for that. So now, yeah, that was crazy. So now, so back to this character and stuff like that, and the fact that you have this amount of space and an amount of creative control to do so many things. With the technology that you have at your hands, what's some of the things that you guys is learning that you could do that you just couldn't do on PS2 and PS3 and back in the day throughout your career?
I don't. Here's what I'll say. I'll say the biggest substantial change for me have been things that really, one of which the gamers aren't going to notice, which is basically having an off-the-shelf engine, having a pre-made engine like Unity 4, if you're using Unreal or whatever. That has been the first time I've ever done that, and that's made all the difference. And obviously, those weren't available, or if they were, I'm pretty sure they were not available on PS2. I don't even think Unreal was available on PS2. I know it was PS3. But anyway, so that, as a development standpoint, that's been huge for me personally and for the team personally. But I think, I'm not one of these guys that really, I've done it enough that I remember being just blown away by, the transition from Super Nintendo to PlayStation 1. And then you remember that, oh my God, I remember Phil Harrison demoed, PlayStation 2 at a hotel in Foster City. And we were there sort of, super early in the process. And it was like, oh my God, I've never seen water look that realistic. And lo and behold, a year later, it's just commonplace. And you're it's all about the games. It's all about, Is it fresh? Is it interesting? Does it evoke emotions as a player in you that inspire you and excite you? And so, you know, all you have to do is really look at like PS2 era when GTA 3 launched.
Woo!
That game was really not a very attractive game visually compared to a lot of other games, but it changed the landscape of not just interactive entertainment, but entertainment. At least modified the core landscape of entertainment and certainly changed interactive entertainment. So for me, it's not, I never really get all that excited about tech just because that's not my world. I don't, you know, I think like I said, my favorite game of the year, one of the favorite games is Gone Home. And that game, you know, it's well done and there's some beautiful art direction. But you don't look at that game and say, oh my God, this would be 1,000 times better on next-gen hardware. You're like, it's not about that.
I like oh my God, you crazy with this. Like I love like the way you think, you know what I'm saying? And I can imagine that the whole team around you, like when y'all get together, I just want to be in a room one day. Like like when y'all do like a creative session, I just want to be like in a room one day, I can imagine what that day is like, seriously. So now So now, you got the building, you guys been doing a lot of work and stuff like that. With the type of deal that you guys have, does this deal does it depend on the success of the first game that will make this a franchise, or is this a deal that's that you guys already have like part 1, part 2, and part 3 already like in the bag? The reason why I ask that is because I see a lot of companies, they come out and the first game may not do as good, but the deal was for 3 titles. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I'm just curious to what type of deal you have.